My name is Kristie Anyabwile, and I am an author and Bible teacher living in Washington, D.C., and it was a joy for me to join with so many sisters in contributing to a chapter in the Voices of Lament book. My chapter is called The Lord Loves Justice, and it's based on Psalm 37, verses 27 and the first half of 28. And in my chapter, I wanted to answer the question of how do we give the talk to our children? How do we think principially and biblically about helping our children to understand safe, healthy ways of engaging with law enforcement or officials? And I wanted to do that drawing on themes that come out of verses 27 and 28 of Psalm 37. And so those principal guidelines center around things like remembering who God is, remembering his promises to us, and remembering our purpose and our calling to turn from evil and do good in the face of evil and even under difficult circumstances. So I pray that it would be helpful, it would be instructive, and that it would be spiritually engaging and challenging for us to live up to what God places before us in this beautiful but difficult chapter. Voices of Lament is important. This particular book is important for a lot of reasons. One, because it features women of color and our voices, it gives us opportunity to engage the global community and ask them to join with us in lament over all kinds of injustices that we see in our world. And so I think that this book is important because oftentimes we don't take the time to sit with those who are wailing, who are crying, who are in lament, who are longing for justice and don't see it in the circumstances in which they find themselves. And so I think Voices of Lament will be a joining together of our cries, of our pleas before the Lord, but that it would also give us hope for a better future, that the Lord does hear, that he does see us, and that he does answer because he loves justice. I have 3 children, 2 adult daughters, and a teenage son. And as I watch my girls mature more and more into adulthood, it used to be the day where I didn't feel like I needed to worry so much about my daughters. I thought they were safe. I thought they'd be protected. And in recent years, as we've seen incident after incident of even African American, our Asian and Latina sisters being mistreated in so many ways and suffering under injustice, I don't feel that same sense of safety that I once felt for them. What gives me hope is God's promises that he never leaves nor forsakes his children, that even in difficulty, that the Lord is near, that the foundation of his throne is justice, that I know the Lord says, vengeance is mine and he will repay. And so where retribution needs to take place, I know that the Lord will do that retributive work. Where restoration needs to take place, I know that the Lord will ensure that. And so what gives me hope is the promises of God and knowing that he is with me, but also he is a God who promises to uphold justice, and he is a God of justice. And we see that clearly in the life and work of Jesus Christ, that he came, the just for the unjust, to bring people to God. This book is beautiful and it's hard. It's not the kind of book that you sit down and read casually. I mean, you can. But I think if you have a casual approach to this book, you can still come away with it feeling a little bit distant. I think it's a book that you read slowly. You read each chapter, each liturgy, each poem prayerfully. You read it with real people in view. You read it with a heart for learning and understanding and growing. And you read it in community. Read it with others that we together might be drawn up into just better communion with one another, better communication with one another, better understanding of one another, and deeper love for one another.